Namaste everyone, and welcome to Anchor the Light Meditation. So before we start, let's ask for divine blessing, shall we? To the Divine Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother, to all the spiritual elders, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, and spiritual helpers. Personally, to my teacher, Master Tokok Sui Mahaguji Mailing, thank you for divine light, divine love. Thank you for your guidance, help, healing, and divine protection. Thank you for blessing us with your compassionate, purifying light and soothing, healing energy. We thank you in full faith, and so it is. So today it's part 2. For Anchor the Light, part 2 of the 3 nights in preparation for Wesak. And today we're talking about Eightfold Path number 2, number 3, and number 4, which is right thoughts, right speech, right action. Now, to put things in proper context before we do our meditation, it's something like this. You see, the most important one is the first one. We talked about that. That's right viewpoint. So, based on right viewpoint, you would know what kind of thoughts to create, what kind of speech and action, right? Makes sense. Now, if you look at the screen right now, let's start with what the Lord Buddha said. He said, we are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we create our world, or we make our world. So, the question is why? You have to first understand the nature of materialization. And we've talked about this before. There's this class that we teach called Kriya Shakti, the science and art of materialization for success and prosperity. Now, the word we use is not manifestation, because Grandmaster Cho was very, very adamant about it. It's called materialization. So let's describe the whole process. When I think of something, let's say I'm thinking of a new car. So what happens is, within my energy field, you have several of them, right? You have the physical body that is enveloped and interpenetrated by your etheric body, then your emotional body, and your mental body. These are your instruments in those different vibrations. They exist in the same physical space, but different frequencies. Just like if you have your radio, you have AM and FM. Flick a switch, in AM. Flick a switch, you're in FM. You don't have to move the radio, right? So essentially, the physical, emotional, mental, and the other spiritual worlds all coexist simultaneously, just in different frequencies. All right? Now, so if I think of, I'd like to have a new car. So that thought is created in the mental world by my mental machine. So it's just like a hologram in that mental world, in my mental body. So over a period of time, I think, I start looking at brochures, I look at commercials, and I look at the internet. So that process of keep looking and thinking, is this? It has these nice wheels and this many horsepower, whatever. In other words, the mental faculty is engaged so much that thought gets stronger and stronger and stronger. It has more energy. Now, at some point, it hits a certain level, like a break point, where it starts moving down in vibration, in frequency. Because you realize this is the spiritual world, mental world, emotional world, etheric world, and the physical world. So, an idea vibrates very high. That's why you don't see it. That's why you don't see people's ideas. Or you say, well, I can tell looking at them, you're looking at the facial expression, and you have a sense of what they might be thinking. But you don't really see it. Well, some of you do. Very advanced clairvoyants could see the energy, right? Could see the thoughts. And what they actually see is an image or a hologram. Now, if you go to a clairvoyant or a psychic who's let's just say, relatively advanced, the key word is relative, one of the ways they know if something's going to happen in your life is basically they look at your aura, they look at certain energies, look at this hologram, and they look for two things. They look for brightness, and they look for density, okay? So at some point, the brightness gives you an idea how much energy that thought has. The density tells you how close is it from moving from the mental world to move down to the emotional world. So if they notice, based on my experience and my 20, 30 years of experience, when I look at this, at that brightness and that density, I give it about 2 months before it'll manifest. So that's why they can tell you, I see a car in your future, I see a husband, a wife, or whatever. That's one of the ways they do it. So this process of the thought gaining enough energy, it hits a certain critical mass, if you will. It becomes so dense, it starts moving down to the emotional world. Now, in your case, Instead of just, oh yeah, that's a nice car, you start searching the internet, you go, I want it. Then you go, yeah, when I'm getting that car, I feel good. People are looking at me. I feel like, or whatever feelings you have, good or bad. Most likely good, because that's why you want it, right? And when you start feeling those things, that means that thought has moved down to the emotional world. At that point, you get excited. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. So as you get more and more emotional about it, and before you know it, I have a few minutes spare time. I saw there's a car dealership there. Let me make an appointment, go out there and test drive it. Guess what you just did? You just took an idea, which is the mental world, move it down to the emotional world. You get emotionally excited, and then you got off your butt and went to get over there and actually physically touched it. You know what you just did? You just did something called materialization. And not too long from there, assuming you have the budget, it's in your garage. Get the idea? That's materialization. It started where? In your thoughts. That's why the Lord Buddha said, everything arises from our thoughts. Now you say, well, where does passion come in? When you have passion, that's already moved to your solar plexus. It's already moved down to your heart. It's already moved to the emotional world. That's why, there's some people that just think, oh yeah, they say they're what do you call it? Armchair quarterbacks. They should do this, they should do that, I should do it. They have all these great ideas, but nothing happens in their life. That's why a lot of you who came from Tony Robbins' event, what do you say? You have that passion. You see, what he didn't tell you is this. Energetically, he's basically short-circuiting the system. He said, okay, what do you want? And then get passionate about it. He drags it down to the emotional world. Well, guess what? Your solar plexus is closer to your butt. Your basic chakra, which is the chakra of materialization. Because while people say, yeah, I'd like to do this someday. Yeah, I'd like to have a better life. As he gets you excited, what happens? He's triggering your heart and your solar plexus, which is what? Forcing that process to speed up. But it all starts where first? You need to know what you want. Make sense? So when the Lord Buddha said it starts from the thought, we create a world, that's what he meant. Now, however, you have to realize with what he said, this is still assuming you have the right viewpoint. Remember the Eightfold Path? Right viewpoint, right thoughts, right words, right actions, right lifestyle, and it keeps going. So if you screw up on the first one, on the viewpoint, you go, oh yeah, man, I think my viewpoint is I deserve 10 Lamborghinis, 5 Rolls Royces. And at that point, you don't have the budget for it. But your viewpoint is, oh, I deserve this. Then you're screwed, man. You can think of it all day long. But your viewpoint is wrong. So it all starts with yesterday's, yesterday as in, right, the other day. Monday, the lesson is what? Right viewpoint. You have to see things clearly. Okay, what is it you want? Okay, observe. Very, very well. Is it something you need? Something is in your budget? Okay, how would you use it? Think it through. From there you go, okay, I've decided this is the car I want. Then you start thinking about it. All right, and then you get emotional about it, you get passionate about it. Then, but if you get the viewpoint wrong, the thought will be wrong, the feelings, of course, the speech is wrong, and the action will be wrong. Does that make sense? So a lot of people, they don't realize there's a process. Now, the process also goes a little deeper. So, in Panic Psychic Self-Defense, which is, by the way, I just got the approval from the mother organization that will be teaching the class Psychic Self-Defense online next month in May. So if you're in the U.S., if you have a U.S. address, we'll be teaching online. It's a full day of how to use energy. Anyway, the basic premise is as simple as this. Every time you think or feel something, you're creating a thought form. But in reality, it's a thought and emotion form, because oftentimes when you think of something, there's already a tinge of emotion with it, right? So it's a thought and emotional form. So your Ajna chakra, your throat chakra, your heart, your solar plexus starts creating this hologram in the mental world, and partially in the emotional world. Now, from there, let's just break it down a little bit. Let's say you created a thought. To just make it more contrasting, we'll just have a positive thought versus a negative thought. So let's say positive thought would be, I want to have a good life. Prosperous, happy, joyful, people love me, good relationships, good health. Okay, that's a positive thought. And on the other hand, let's say you had a negative experience with someone, so you're looking, oh man, that guy, he's such a big, fat, no good piece of whatever jerk. So that's a negative thought. The manufacturing process is identical. You think of a good thought, you think of a negative thought, you create it energetically. It's just basically this frequency for this thought, this frequency for this thought. Now, each of these thoughts, good or bad, positive or negative, since it's made of energy, also radiates a certain energy. In other words, it has its own aura. So if you think of something positive, let's say if you have a clairvoyant look, it's like a lump of energy like this, it radiates a certain light, like a light bulb, okay? In both cases. Now here's the difference. Whichever one you have more of in your aura, in your energy field, will determine, quote unquote, the surface area that attracts that similar frequency to your life. So if you have a person who is very, very positive, that means their aura is primarily populated by positive thought forms. Each of these thought forms has an aura, so that aura of those individual thoughts interpenetrates your entire energy field. So your psychic radiatory field, your entire aura, essentially, is radiating this energy. So, the law of attraction now is working for you. Are you with me so far? Now, if a person likes to complain a lot, that means all those negative thoughts have their own individual aura. It also populates the entire aura. So the surface area of your aura is basically interwoven, if that's the right English, woven with this negative energy from all those negative thought forms. Well, guess what? That's what you attract. So now the law of attraction is working against you. That's why we always say, big fish eat small fish. You know, people like keep quoting law of attraction. Yeah, did you clean out your crap? If you did, well, guess what? That law of attraction is attracting negative energy to you. And that's the thing that, we always tell people, and this, we'll cover it in detail in psychic self-defense in the class, is this. I don't care how strong your shield is. I'm wearing this crystal, being blessed by 10,000 gurus and angels and everything else. Great. You could have titanium, whatever energy shield. But if the content of the aura is negative, when you interact with people, those shields open up and the crap comes in. Useless. That's why I've known people to go, oh yeah, man, I've studied this technique, that technique, and they keep naming it, and the guru they've been to, the technique, the jewels they wear, the blah, blah, blah. I'm going, how come your life is still a mess? Well, whatever. I go, it's very simple if they want to hear it. Because you didn't clean up the inside. In other words, you don't clean up your thoughts. You did not have right thoughts, right words, right actions. So therefore, the frequency within the aura is radiating negative. I don't care how many shields you have. The opposite is also true. You've met people who don't know anything about energy. They don't even know what the heck a chakra or an aura is. They think it's one of those new agey whatever. But their life is good because they're inherently good people. Good people, as in it is their nature to create positive thought forms. They don't know anything about shielding. They don't know about crystals or any of that stuff that you guys do. Nothing. They're just good people. So the surface area of the aura is primarily radiating good energy. That's why you're close to them. You're just talking to them. You go, oh, it's so nice, right? They don't know any technique. They're just good, loving people. Now, that's one of the reasons why, the rule number one in psychic protection, you've heard me say this already, is non-reaction. Because let's say a person's feeling good, very loving and joyful, right? People project negative thoughts at you. If you don't respond, there's nothing for it to come in. It's interesting that when you finish doing your meditation, do you notice that after meditation it's so peaceful and loving? It's like, yeah. You don't even notice like, oh, maybe somebody doesn't like you. You go, whatever. Because at that time, your aura is filled with this positive energy. And so, like qualities attract, opposites repel. Make sense? So when it comes to right thoughts, right words, right action, it starts where? What's in your mind? There's no point in going, yeah, I'm going to use this technique, that technique, if what populates a person's mind is always complaining about this, criticizing this and that. Everything else you do doesn't matter because the thought is the seed. Make sense? Now, let's take it a little further. So part of the Wesak Festival is understanding how to regulate your thoughts, your words, and your emotions, right? That's why right viewpoint is Eightfold Path number 1, Eightfold Path number 2, 3, and 4 is right thoughts, right words, right actions. Now, in order to harness these right thoughts, right words, and actions, you also have to understand the law of karma. Without it, doesn't matter. What are you talking about? Because with our thoughts, with our speech and our actions, we are planting seeds. Okay, let's put it in proper context. So the reason right thoughts, right words, right actions are so important because with whatever we think of, whatever we say, whatever we do, we are creating a cause. And based on who's that other smart dude? Isaac Newton, right? Newton said the third law of motion. For every action, there's a reaction. For every cause, there's an effect. So the reason you need to have right thoughts, right words, right actions, because with these three, we are planting seeds. So if you planted the wrong seed, you planted a negative thought, you planted negative speech, you start screaming, yelling at people, you start beating up people, well, guess what, buddy? There's this law of karma, not called your opinion karma. We don't believe in it, it doesn't care. So with this law of karma that is existing, then right thoughts, right words, right action is the secret to having a good life. Because whatever you plant will hit you in the face. So if you want people to love you, well, guess what? If you start complaining and screaming and criticizing people, it ain't happening. That's why it blows my mind. I'll be very direct with you, okay? It blows my mind. I've seen people literally in class. Yeah, pre-COVID times, and I don't know when these things open, but anyway, I see people, they sit there and complain. Oh yeah, this, I'll just be as politically correct as possible. Oh, I had this colleague at work, which is they're actually talking about their siblings or their spouse. Oh yeah, there's this person, man, he's such a big fat no good piece of crap, and he went on and on and on. And I can't believe it. How come they don't show me any love? I'm going, what's wrong with you? You keep planting oranges and you expect apples to pop out. In what universe is that manifesting? Doesn't make any sense. You keep planting and projecting all these negative thoughts, negative emotions. You keep screaming and yelling at them and you expect them to, honey, I love you. I don't know what universe you live in. It doesn't make any sense. Even if you don't know any law of karma teachings, it's just plain dumb. Right? Well, it's in my thoughts. He doesn't know I'm projecting this. Hello? Remember that materialization thingy? Whatever happens in the energy world has a tendency, if you have strong enough a thought, good or bad, it has a tendency to move down. It starts affecting your emotions, and before you know it, it manifests. Oh, it's my thoughts, my private thoughts. You really think it has no effect anywhere else? Hello, go back to the thought forms we create. That's why one of the things that Lord Buddha kept reminding us every year, he said, teach the Four Noble Truths and Eightfold Path. Because humanity forgets. Actually, he didn't say humanity, all beings. Now, to weed you guys out a little bit, based on what we were told, when he, for lack of a better word, experienced his full enlightenment, all beings were affected by his enlightenment. So when he started teaching, the teachings were not just for human beings, even for angelic beings, devas, and other races. In fact, one of the, just to kind of give you a little extra information, according to one Zen story, he was in a garden teaching. There were the disciples, right? His disciples, and in his teaching, I think it was in Deerfield, according to the story, very hard to validate. When he was teaching, it was attended not just by human beings, but also by devas. The word deva means shining ones, which is the equivalent of what we call angelic beings. And I told you later on we'll teach a class on it online, because some people are interested. We'll go into the more, not really scientific, but more of the, how do you call it? More universal teaching, okay? Anyway, so according to the story, he held the flower like this. He just held the flower. And the human beings watching, we're going, okay, what's going on? But the angelic beings, the devas, looked at it, looked at the flower, and went into deep meditation. So for them, when the teacher was holding the flower, it was emitting so much energy, everybody went into bliss. Well, the angelic beings. The human beings, some of them did, some of them were oblivious. Because when he experienced that enlightenment, he was radiating so much energy, it awakened the divinity within every soul. Human souls and non-human souls. Okay? Anyway, so let's go back to the teaching. That's why every year, the instructions were every year after he left his body, before he left his body, he said, the Four Noble Truths and Eightfold Path have to be taught. Because it permeates every part of our life. And it starts where? Our thoughts. So, when we properly use right thoughts, right speech, right action, we are harnessing the law of karma to be able to give us a better life. When we violate the law of karma, then it creates misery. How does it create misery? We already covered it. You plant bad seeds, you get bad harvest. Or you get what you deserve, good or bad. Right? So if you plant good seeds, right thoughts, right words, right actions, that's what comes back to you. Now, if you go a little deeper, by the way, in the 7-day purification lecture meditation this morning, which, by the way, if you still want to sign up, if any of you still want to join it, tomorrow we close it, because that's already day 4. And for most people, this is not Netflix where you can binge watch, because some of you who've joined it, you realize how in-depth I went. And for most people, by the time you take notes and the deep meditation we do, you cannot handle the energy if you do it continuously. So tomorrow we're closing it. So Thursday will be the last day if you guys still want to sign up. Okay? So one thing we were covering, and that is this. So part of right thoughts is not just good and uplifting thoughts, but discernment. And this is so critical. I've covered this before. Discernment is practicing intelligent evaluation. Okay? I'm not going to go through the whole thing, obviously, because we don't have enough time. But if you joined it this morning, I went through over about an hour and a half. We dove into it with meditation. So the whole idea is something like this. Right thoughts also means you question everything. You go, oh, that's not good. I thought you have to have faith. You have faith and use your brain. Because if you don't, we get easily fooled. Make sense? So what happens is something like this. Hold on, I'll make sure that the signal is going through, because people always send me signal. Oh, I can't hear. Okay. Oh, it's good. All right. So it's something like this. I remember my teacher told me many years ago, he said, the teacher is like a supermarket. What? You go to the supermarket, you take what you need. Make sense? In other words, you absorb what you can handle. You don't have to swallow everything. So, what did he say? I'll just go through this quickly. What did the Lord Buddha say? He said, do not believe something just because legends say so. Do not believe something just because scripture said so. The key words are just because. Or it conforms with tradition. And I remember one time I was in a discussion with my teacher about yoga, about meditation, some spiritual stuff, right? And then me and my big fat mouth, I said, but master, you know, this has been done for thousands of years. He looked at me, he goes, you're right, time for update. And then he proceeded to explain to me, like, the teacher at that time were teaching mostly people that were illiterate. So the teachings have been taught at the level that these people can understand. So 2,500 years later, the Lord Buddha, 2,000 years later, the Lord Jesus, when you look at the teachings, you have tried to understand it in context. What was the teacher teaching? If you take it literally, that means probability of distortion is almost 100%. That's why at that time, they didn't say, by the way, I'm going to write this book, the book of Matthew, chapter this, verse that. No, the scribes just kept writing, and then it's later on when they think people organize it. So you have to understand the entire context. You even have to understand who the writer is. So in the case of the four Gospels, one of them is a tax collector, one of them is I forgot, a doctor, one of them was a fisherman, whatever. In other words, based on how they wrote it, with how the Lord Jesus taught, it's biased or filtered based on that. So you have to go, okay, Luke is, I hope I got this right, I think he's a physician. So if he's a physician, the way he writes, then it's from that perspective. In the case of Lord Buddha, same thing. You have to realize they're talking to common people who probably 2,500 years ago, no read, no write. So he must have super dumbed it down. So we have to understand, what is the Lord Buddha actually teaching? That's what's called discernment. Clear? So, I know this sounds harsh, but I've always said this. This is my opinion. My teacher didn't say this. It doesn't mean that when you get on the spiritual path, you leave your brain in the car. Everything is subject to evaluation. Even my teacher, that's what he used to do. He'll say, okay, this is what you do. These are the reasons why. And if you don't do it, this is the effect. If you do it, this is the benefit. In the end, you make your own decision. That's what he never told me. Do it, just trust me. I'm the teacher. He never told that to me. Because he expects me to understand what is being given. That's how you prevent yourself from being sucked into what you call cult, C-U-L-T. Because if you're in a cult, you surrender your will. You surrender your ability to question. Of course, the way my teacher says, you question, but you question respectfully. Make sense? In fact, the last part of this, which is actually, for me, it's the most revealing one, is authority figures say so. In other words, the Lord Buddha said, don't believe it just because I said it. Okay, for some of you who are new, let me give you a little bit of perspective, shall we? In pranic healing, you will learn that most people, the size of the average size of the chakras, they actually measured it, seen by clairvoyant and with scanning. The average person who's not yet on the spiritual path, the size of the chakra is 3.5 to 4 inches. That's what you call petal to petal, like a flower. And of course, as you do stuff, it expands, contracts, and a lot of you have been doing meditations, most likely much bigger. Okay? Now, from there, you have the size of the chakra, and then you have the inner aura, and so on and so on. So essentially what happens is this. If you have a piece of wire, as current goes through, it will create a magnetic field. Right? You guys know that. So just imagine life force, life current going through our aura and going through the chakras. As the energy moves through, it creates a human electromagnetic field. That's what you call the aura. So it's actually scientific in that sense. Alright? So that means whatever the size of your aura, whatever the size of your chakras are, let's say you have these 11 major chakras and connected by energy cables called meridians, as life force goes through in and out of them, as it moves through them, it creates an electromagnetic field. Make sense? And that electromagnetic field has several layers. You have inner aura, that's what we call it, inner aura, health aura, outer aura. This just to give you a foundation. I just give you a crash course on pranic healing. So for ordinary people, not yet serious about their spiritual path, the size of the chakra is about 3.5 to 4 inches. The inner aura is about 6 inches, give or take. And of course, everything else is wider afterwards. So the inner aura could be 6 inches. The outer aura could be like, let's say 5 feet. Okay? Now, according to what I was told, very hard to validate, the Lord Buddha, the Lord Jesus, also these great enlightened beings, they are planetary beings. Their aura is bigger than the planet. So that means most likely each of their chakras is probably the size of a country. Do you understand what we're talking about here? But somebody of that level of development will tell us don't believe something just because I said so. Only believe it if you have personal verification or experience. You've studied it, you experienced it. Otherwise, it's called superstition. Are we getting somewhere? So that's why right thoughts is so important. Sharpen your mind. Now, of course, there's right speech. And right speech, there are many parts of this right speech. And the premise behind it starts like this. As my teacher said, thoughts are the seeds we harvest with our speech and our actions. In other words, based on what's in our minds, what we think, what we feel, our speech will externalize it, will manifest or materialize it through our physical actions. Now, when it comes to right speech, there's many parts to this, and I went through it in detail this morning, but I'll cover a few things here for the sake of giving you the context. Just a few things. One, avoid wasteful conversations. And definitely no gossiping. Gossiping is a complete waste of time. And not to mention, oftentimes, it's character assassination. Right? The person cannot defend themselves. You say, by the way, that guy's a jerk, and blah, 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 blah. Right? So, let me just cover this very, very quickly to give it context. I cannot tell you how many times, after going to a family party, coming home, my wife will tell me, what's wrong with you? I go, what do you mean, what's wrong with me? You hardly said anything. Am I supposed to say stuff? You could stand in front of people on stage, talk for 10, 11 hours a day, several days in a row, and we were there in the family party for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and you barely talk to people. I said, they're talking about useless stuff. They talk for the sake of talking. You know, like schmoozing, like, hey, how's life? Oh, what do you think of this party? What do you think of that? I'm going, that does not directly impact my life, so who cares? I don't say that. I go, yeah. And they'll say, oh, how are your kids? Good. How are my kids? Good. And after that, it's like empty conversation. I know. You're supposed to learn to socialize. Sorry, that's not my specialization. If it's not important, I don't waste saliva. That's just me. But I remember my teacher said, you have to realize one thing. When the mind is clear, the mind is quiet. When the mind is muddied, that's why there's no clarity. So that's why the mouth just keep talking about useless things. I go, oh, great. So when I'm with him, before I talk to him, I think, okay, I'm going to ask him this. He'll probably say that, and this is the answer. So, okay, I know the answer. I won't say anything. So it forced me to do this. What is really important, what's not. I know, some of you are saying, that's boring. I know, but I'm just saying, in general, watch the words coming out. Because what comes out of your mouth is a reflection of what's inside. Does that make sense? Think about it. You notice there's some people, I try not to do this anymore, but sometimes in class, somebody asks a question. I'm like, finally, I go, what's your point? What's your question? I don't need to hear you think. I don't say that. That's impolite. But you get my point? Because the mind is not clear, that's why the mouth keeps going like this and like this and like this. And out of 10 minutes, what the question was just 30 seconds. So right thoughts, when a person has right thoughts, will manifest as right speech. So when there's right speech, there's less wasteful yakking. Ask yourself, last time you were with a friend, out of the 2 hours you were talking, how much of it has content? How much of it is uplifting? How much of it is important? Exactly the point. Make sense? Yeah, but that's a boring life. Believe me, when you have peace and clarity, it's not boring. It's like finally. Otherwise, it's called psychic noise. Are you guys okay? And I'm barely touching a few of these. So, right thoughts, right speech. Of course, there's right speech, and I'll share this with you because I think this is important. We covered this morning. Right speech. There are many versions of this. I'm sure a lot of you have known more of it, but this is just the essence. When you're saying something to someone, number one, is it true? If it's not true, you stop right there. Don't bother going 2, 3, 4. Because if it's not true, then it's BS. It's your belief system. As Tony Robbins used to say. Okay? So first thing is, if you're going to say something, is it true? If it's not true, you better clarify based on what I was told. In my opinion. Don't say like, yeah, by the way, this is that. Because if the first part's not true, then the rest don't matter. But let's just say what you're saying has a high probability of the truth. So when you say something, okay, first of all, is it true? Number two, is it kind and not hurtful? Have you had the experience where somebody tells you a bunch of stuff about you, but it's the truth, I'm being honest, but their intention is to hurt you? They want to slice and dice you? Right? Next, is it useful? Is it necessary? It's supposed to help you or help someone? If not, if it failed this test, it's useless. It's just yakking, mouth moving air, but no content. Sounds familiar? Try to recall the people you talk to. How many of them follow this? Or a lot of them just talk just so that, the saliva has somewhere to go. I know it sounds harsh, right? But hey, I didn't force you to listen. And of course, right action is also very, very important. Right action, I'll just go through this very quickly. Avoid physical injury. Now I know some of you goes, yeah, but wait a minute. What if someone trying to hurt me? Okay, just relax. Let me tell you my samurai story again, so you understand. First of all, when you say avoid physical injury, avoid unnecessary physical injury. Because what if somebody's going to hurt your family, hurt you? You have to defend yourself. Otherwise, it'd be the sin of inaction, right? But this is the part that's very important. I want to really drive home. When I was in El Paso, Texas, there's an army post, a big army base called Fort Bliss. Okay? It's not because it's a super spiritual place. It just so happened the army post was named after some general with the last name Bliss. So a lot of the people attending our classes were military men and women. And so when we talk about the virtues of loving kindness and non-injury, of course they raise their, excuse me, I'm a soldier. Does that mean I don't shoot? So lucky enough, many years before, I asked my teacher that question, and instead of answering my question, he told the story. Some of you heard it. So in ancient Japan, you have the samurais. The samurai, they're people, not the sword. The sword is called katana. Next time you go to a sushi place, if you want to sound intelligent, you tell the sushi chef, oh, is your sushi knife made like a katana? They're going to be impressed if they know what you're talking about. That's a sword. Okay? Anyway, make a long story short, their job is to protect royalty. And so if they have a bad guy, there's no judge, there's no jury, whatever. In ancient Japan, it's like they test the sharpness of the sword, whether it's 1 cut or 2 cut to cut your body in half. Okay, pretty ruthless. Okay, anyway, so the story goes, these two samurais chasing this bad dude. And one guy caught up with him, and of course, he's ready to kill the guy, right? The bad guy turned around, spat on his face. So the samurai goes, and walked away. The slower guy finally caught up, and of course by then the bad guy got away. And he said, what's wrong with you? We were looking for this guy for who knows how long. He's Japan's most wanted. He's on TV. And the first guy says, I kill out of obligation and duty. When he spat on my face, I knew I would be killing him because I was angry for him spitting at me. That's not what I do. And I remember when my teacher said that, he didn't have to say anymore. I realized what the answer was. If you're going to be in law enforcement, if you're going to be in the military, if you're going to be a parent, whatever, you have to do your duty. The most important part is what's in your heart and what's in your mind. If you have to injure someone because you don't have a choice, because it's part of your job to protect, then you better do your job well. However, if you enjoy hurting the other person, that's where the negative karma comes in. So the intention and the dosage have to be in check. In other words, if somebody's going to hurt your family and just, I don't know, hitting them with a bat once to knock them out is enough, then you can run away. That's all you do. But if you sit there and go, let me enjoy this. Let me bash your head in, break your arm, break your leg, and sit there and go, what else can I do to this guy? That's where the negative karma comes in. Or you can do the Jackie Chan technique. I haven't told that joke in a long time. Have you seen that movie, Jackie Chan? There's a bunch of guys coming, and he's with a woman. He goes, let me give you the eagle claw technique. And so he took his sandals off, put it on the ground, grabbed his sandals, and ran. Eagle claw technique. Anyway, all right, let's be focused. You get my point? So, the part on avoid physical injury is quite, let's just say, quite deep in teaching. In fact, I remember when people start quoting the Ten Commandments, it actually does not say, thou shalt not kill. If I remember correctly, in my Bible school days, it actually says in Hebrew, I think it's Hebrew, or Aramaic, I'm not sure, thou shalt not murder. There's a difference. Killing and murdering are two different things. Murder implies there's a certain intention to hurt. Where kill is basically, it's something that's done with your actions. Okay? Of course, right action also involves being charitable, giving money to charity, balancing kindness with severity. And here's the part I really want to get across before we do our meditation. The Lord Krishna said, a good person is not completely good. A bad person is not completely bad. Think about it. Even a bad person that you know of would show kindness to someone they love. True? And even the best person that we know have moments where when the soul loses control, they get angry, they get upset, they could do something that's hurtful. That's why forgiveness is the key to happiness. It's the other F word. F word. When somebody hurt you, F them. Forgive them. Now, let me just go through this again very quickly. When I went to Bhutan, and I was a guest of the Queen, I was fortunate enough to be escorted around by one of the royal guards, who was also a very spiritual person. This major said, we have saints, we have yogis, masters, shamans, holy people come through here, and they pretty much say the same thing. A person's spiritual development is basically gauged by the ability to forgive and let go. Because you cannot control the external circumstances, right? You cannot always control what people say or do, but we can control how we respond to them. So whether the soul is able to control the body, the emotions, the thoughts, the mouth, the mind, determines what is the outcome, what is the response. And so a lot of you, if you're new, you haven't heard this before, you're going to give me that, but you see, if I keep forgiving everybody, then they will hurt me and hurt other people, blah, blah. Okay, stop. Just cut the nonsense. Listen carefully. This is probably one of the most profound teaching my teachers given to the world. You have to differentiate inner forgiveness and outer forgiveness. Inner forgiveness means whatever the offense, spiritually I forgive you because I'm a soul that's evolving, having an earthly journey, and I'm going to screw up. I want to be forgiven because once I learn the lesson, I want people to forgive me. Well, you don't have a special VIP pass that only you can screw up and be forgiven. So is the other guy. So spiritually, listen, spiritually, inner forgiveness means whatever the offenses, I forgive all. That allows me to have inner peace and be able to sleep at night. Externally, I'm going to sue your pants off. Or I'm going to have a restraining order. Make sense? So internally, you forgive. Externally, you have to show boundaries. The two exist simultaneously. If you're a parent, you do this all day long. Remember when your kids are small, what did you do? When they goof up, You cannot do that. Part of you saying, at that age, I've done worse. This must be karma, man. But, okay, you're grounded for a month. Right? And some of you go, it's going to hurt me more than hurt them, but I don't have a choice. I love them, I forgive them, but if I don't show them that I'm pissed off, that I'm not going to stand for this, they're going to grow up, be terrible people. So I have to set some boundaries. Sounds familiar? Exactly the same thing. People that hurt us are oftentimes what? Spiritual babies in adult bodies. That's a quote from my teacher. So that's why proper or right action, right thoughts, right words, right speech, right action involves forgiveness. Because we cannot control what people do. We can affect it, but there's no certainty you can control what people do. The only certainty you have is the ability of the soul at some level to control the thoughts, the words, and the speech that come out of us. That's why learn to forgive, learn to let go, or you'll be miserable. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If you don't learn to forgive, you don't learn to let go, let trivial things pass, we'll talk again in a few lifetimes. You will tell me that, yep, it was miserable. So, it's in your hands. And denial is not going to make it go away. Right thoughts, right speech, right action. You put it all together, you do it over and over again. That's what you call right lifestyle. Noble path number 5. So come Friday, when we do the third portion, we'll cover lifestyle a little more. Your lifestyle or your livelihood is a manifestation of how much control the soul has over the body, its desires, the emotions, and its passion and drama, and your mind, of how clear and focused your mind is. You put it all together, that's your lifestyle. And so we'll talk about it on Friday. Okay? Now, we're going to do our meditation, but before we do this, before you guys space out, just a few announcements here. On Monday, which is actual Wesak full moon, all of you, regardless if you paid or not, whether everybody's invited. The link will be available. I don't know if it's available yet. It's going to be a closed room, like always. We used to have it broadcasted everywhere, and you have a bunch of people that start criticizing. Oh, you bunch of New Age people, you're praying to this. We don't need these people. They're not open. They're not yet ready. You don't need them criticizing and causing problem, right? So it's going to be closed room. In other words, you sign up. All of us going to be meditating together from 6:30. All this California time. Okay, schedule will be there for 6:30 to 7:30, about an hour. We'll have a discussion, just like the Lord Buddha taught, the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, in that 1 hour, just to kind of remind people. And then from there, there's going to be a pee break, okay? And after that, the main event, we'll do the Wesak Festival meditation, and it's going to be an hour. I'm going to tell you right now, 1 hour. You all cannot sit that long. Well, if you're in deep meditation, you won't even notice the time goes by. Now, if you're screaming all over the place, either you have a physical issue that you do your best to be comfortable, or you are not prepared. But the comments we had before, if you're really sensing that energy and being with it, you won't even notice the time. And after that, we're going to use that energy to bless our projects, our loved ones, and friends. Okay, so that's next Monday. Just want to make sure that you set aside the time for that. What else? And again, tomorrow night is the last chance for you to sign up if you still want to join the 7-day purification and healing. Of course, at 7:30, we're going to have the healing tonight for hatred and resentment. This morning, man, when I did it, we did it together. I felt like I was shoveling crap. I was itching all over, salt water and everything. So if you're part of that 7:30 time, make sure you have your salt water, okay? And what else? I think that's it. Okay, the panic self-defense is going to be taught in May. You'll have the information there. The prerequisite is panic self-healing, because you need to know how to use energy. And also, you need to learn about your aura and your chakras. Let me give you a little clue. If you don't have an aura or you don't have chakras, psychic attack won't affect you. You hear what I just said? If you don't have aura and chakras, you're not subject to psychic attack. You know why? Short of somebody hitting you physically, when a person projects psychic attack at you, it's energetic, which the receptors are your aura and your chakras. That's why pranic self-healing is a prerequisite, is because if you don't understand your energy system, it's hard for us to get in detail, show in detail. Okay, there's my assistant's trying to tell me something. I hope I didn't screw this one up. Looks like it's okay. All right. If you don't have the aura and chakras, then you're immune. You're immune to psychic attack because you're dead. Okay, anyway, all right, clear? And so whatever country you are is being taught, but if you have U.S. address, you can join us. So pranic self-healing is a prerequisite. And if you go to pranichealing.com or mastercode.org, will direct you. There's a list of the instructors that are going to be teaching pranic self-healing as a prerequisite. All right, let's meditate. Oh, I was just told that you can sign up for the Wesak Festival, April 26th, at mastercode.org. Okay, again, it's free. Whether you attend the 7-day purification or not, or whatever, you're all invited. You just have to sign up for it. All right, let's do this. To the Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother, to all the spiritual elders, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, and spiritual helpers, to my teacher, Masters Hokoksui, Mahagu Jumeli, to all the great spiritual teachers, holy masters, and saints, to the Lord Buddha, to the Lord Christ, to all the high beings, thank you. Thank you for your compassionate, purifying light and soothing, healing energy. We thank you in full faith, and so it is. Okay, tap your heart with your left hand, tap your crown with your right hand. Be aware of your heart and crown, put your hand like this. Let's have right viewpoint. I'm not the body, I'm not the emotions, I'm not the thoughts. I'm not even the mind. The body, the emotions, and the mind are just instruments of the soul. I am the soul, the true spiritual self. I am that, the soul. Just be still. I am connected in one to my higher soul. I am connected in one to the divine spirit within me. I am a child of God. I am one with God. I am one with all. There is only oneness. Just be still. We are one. We are one. There is only oneness. Maintain that stillness and awareness. Open your hands in blessing. Visualize the earth in front of you. Be aware of your heart. Just say, our hearts are one. Now project beautiful pink light from your heart to your hands and fill the earth with it. Start with your family, your relatives and friends. Fill them with beautiful pink light. Let that pink light spread to the city, state, country. Let it spread throughout the entire earth. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Wherever there's hatred anywhere in the world, let me sow love. Flood your family with love, with peace, and let it just radiate everywhere. Where there's injury, let me sow pardon and forgiveness. Part of right thoughts, right words, right action is the ability to forgive and let go. So visualize the people we have hurt. Let's start there. We keep thinking of people who have hurt us. How about the people we have hurt? So visualize all the people we could have hurt in the past. And just say, to whoever I've hurt, in however way I've hurt you, I've learned from my mistakes. I humbly ask for your forgiveness. Thank you. Fill them with beautiful pink light. Say thank you for your forgiveness. And also say, and I forgive myself. I've learned my lessons. I want to be a better person. Now visualize the people who have hurt us or are hurting us. Flood them with beautiful pink light. And just silently say, We are all children of God. We are all growing and evolving. Evolution involves time, process, and lots of mistakes. I've learned from my mistakes and grew from all of them. So can all of you. To all who have hurt me, you are all completely forgiven. Go in peace. May you be blessed with inner peace, inner healing. May you also spiritually grow and learn from your mistakes. Namaste. I forgive you. I let go. Now take a deep breath. Open your eyes, look at me. Say, cut, disconnect. Again, inhale. Cut, disconnect, I release all of you. Again, inhale. Cut, disconnect, I release all anger and resentment. So be it. Now be aware of your heart. Flood them with even more beautiful pink light. May all of you be blessed with peace and with love. May you be blessed. So be it. So be it. Can you feel the relief? Let's continue. Where there's doubt, let me sow faith. Where there's despair, let me sow hope. To all who are suffering, may all of you be blessed with hope and with faith in a better life. So be it. So be it. Now be aware of your heart. Take a deep breath. Be aware of your crown and exhale. You stay on your crown. Your crown is filled with beautiful golden light. Let that golden light flow down through your hands and fill the earth. From the heart of God, through my soul, through my entire being, may every person, every being on earth be blessed with love and kindness. Let all be blessed with great joy and happiness, with understanding, harmony, and divine peace. So be it. Just be aware of your crown. Just keep flooding the earth with golden light. Fill your family with golden light. Relatives, friends, let it spread to the country, and let it spread throughout the entire earth. May all be blessed with peace, love, and kindness. So be it. So be it. Especially bless the people who have hurt us. Bless them with golden light, peace, love, and forgiveness. So be it. Now be aware of your heart and your crown. Take a deep breath. Exhale, flood the earth with even brighter golden light. From the center of the heart of God, through my soul, through my entire being, may every person, every being in the higher worlds, middle worlds, even the lower worlds, let all beings in every dimension, every direction above and below, all beings be blessed with God's unconditional love and kindness. From the center of the heart of God, through my soul, through my entire being, may all be blessed with inner peace, inner healing. Let all be blessed with understanding, harmony. Let all be blessed with goodwill, and especially the willingness to do good. May all be blessed. So be it. Now lower your hands on your lap. Just be still. Keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Imagine a beautiful golden star just floating above your head. Be aware of the love within your heart. Send a stream of love from your heart up to the crown and into that golden, beautiful star. Allow your entire attention, your entire consciousness to literally be sucked into that golden light. You are that golden light. You're not the body, you're not the emotion, you're not the thoughts. You are the soul, a being of pure energy. That is your true nature. And now, you the soul, listen. Om. Allow your entire awareness and consciousness to gently drift deeper and deeper into that golden star. You're like a droplet of light in an ocean of golden light. Just be still and let go and let things be now. Om. Let go. Experience your true nature. A being of divine intelligence, divine love, and divine power. Ananda. Experience the divine bliss. Now, let go. Let go. Go deeper in the light. Gently, very slowly, come back to your body. Gently move your fingers, move your toes. Very gently and slowly come back to your physical body right now. Move your fingers and toes. That allows your body to come back. Oh, no, allow your soul to come back. Your body's already here. Raise your hands in blessing. Just imagine all the people you love in front of you. Fill them with even more intense golden light. May all of them be blessed with good health, with happiness, with abundance and prosperity, and with spirituality. So be it. Just bless your loved ones. Saturate them with beautiful golden light. Blessings be to all. Now aim your hands down. Be aware of your feet, your hands, and the base of your spine. Project golden light down into the earth. Fill the earth below us with golden light, and verbally repeat after me. Let our beloved Mother Earth be blessed with divine light, divine love, and divine power. Let our beloved Mother Earth be healed, regenerated, and revitalized. Blessings be to Mother Earth. So be it. So be it, and so it is. Let's give thanks to the Divine Supreme One, Divine Father, Mother. Thank you to all the spiritual elders, Holy Masters, Saints, Archangels, Holy Angels, spiritual helpers. Personally, to my beloved teacher, Grandmaster Chokok Sui Mahaguji May, thank you all for your blessings. To the Lord Buddha, Lord Christ, and all the high beings, thank you. In full faith, and so it is. Okay, we went way over time, but, we tackled 3 of the Eightfold Path in 1 hours plus meditation. So, anyway, I hope you guys are all right. Thank you very much for your nice comments. At least the stuff I saw. None of you are knocked out, so I think that's good. So we're done. Get up and do your exercises. And if you're part of the healing for the 7:31, we'll start at 7:30, about 20-some minutes. So get up, exercise, go to the bathroom, get your saltwater bucket, because we're going to release a lot of hatred and resentment. And the one tomorrow is releasing excessive unregulated desire or addiction. So the ones who have not signed up, if you still want to, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Day 1 is anger, anxiety. Today's hatred and resentment. Man, that's like vomiting crap. I was cleaning. It's like, ugh. But we're going to do it again tonight. And then tomorrow is releasing addictions and, things that you really want to release. We're using the group energy, bigger hose, flush it out. Right. So anything you need to know, go to mastercode.org. And I think that's pretty much it. Namaste, everyone. Good night, good morning, wherever you are. Take good care. God bless. Let's see you tomorrow.